Can y'all hear me okay? I'm pretty soft-spoken, so if you can't, just let me know. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here in front of you. Whether it will be a pleasure for you to be here in front of me, we'll find out in a few minutes. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. That's the theme for today's event. And as someone who lives in this county and has lived in the greater Seattle area for 36 years, I've been reflecting on these words and what they mean to me here, in this place, and in this time. But as I was trying to think of that, I just kept getting caught up on the invite that I got to speak here. I was invited to help celebrate the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebrate. Celebrate is a very specific word. It is a word that is often used when I'm asked to speak in January and February about Dr. King. And yes, I am only asked to speak about Dr. King in January and February. But in thinking of what it looks like to speak with truth and live in the love of the great Dr. King, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When 25% of my brothers and sisters live below the federal poverty level in this county, in an area with one of the highest costs of living in this country, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When Black people make up 6% of our population and 44% of the population of our youth detention centers, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When Hispanic and Latinx people make up 9% of our population and 19% of our youth detention center population, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. And when Indigenous people make up less than 1% of our population and almost 6% of the population of our youth detention centers, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When the average Black household in King County makes just $35,000 a year, while the average white household in King County makes over $75,000 a year, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When 17% of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders in King County who are expecting or lacking prenatal care, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When 9% of Indigenous people and 8% of Black people who are expecting in King County are lacking in prenatal care, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. Y'all are gonna get tired of clapping pretty soon. When the suspension and expulsion rate for Black students in our schools is 4 times higher than white students and 2 times higher for Latinx and Indigenous students than white students, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When I see budgets to build new youth detention that far outweigh our budgets to reduce youth detention, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. When children of color make up 1/3 of our child population and over half of our population in foster care, celebrate is not the word that comes to mind. And as I watch friend after friend, community member after community member be pushed out of their homes and away from the safety, security, and resources of their community by gentrification, further solidifying all of the frightening statistics I just gave, celebration is not a word that comes to mind. So no, as a county, as a society, as a country, I do not think we get to celebrate yet. I do not think Dr. King would celebrate yet. So perhaps there's another word, a word that I wish came up more often when I am asked to speak at these celebrations. Honor. What does it look like to honor Dr. King? What does it look like to honor his words that were chosen for today? I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. I have given truth. Truth that does not care about your excuses. Truth does not care about your complications. Truth that says that for over 400 years our people have been abused. For over 400 years our children have not been allowed to be children. Truth that says that this country and this county has failed and is failing its people of color every day in countless ways. This is a truth that cannot be argued, a truth that must be reckoned with and accounted for. I'm sorry if I have ruined your celebration with truth. But there's more to this quote, right? There's love. Where's the love? The unconditional love that Dr. King spoke of. First, let me say that the unconditional love that Dr. King spoke of is the love that brings the truth here. It is the love that has me in front of a large group of people saying what I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't want to hear. A love that has me risking all of our comfort on this nice day to say what absolutely must be said. This is love for my family, love for my people, love for our history, love for our potential, love for this great Pacific Northwest that I desperately want to love me back. So what does it look like for this county to live in the unconditional love that Dr. King spoke of? It looks like truly engaging with communities of color, where they are, investing in communities of color, where they are. It looks like honoring all of the ways in which, despite all of the overwhelming odds against us, we have survived and continue to survive. It looks like supporting the work we are already doing instead of insisting that you know what is best for us. It looks like honoring and protecting our communities of color as actual communities that need to be together and not dispersed to meet the desires of a vision of progress that has never included us. It looks like holding our schools accountable for not seeing our children as children. It looks like holding our police accountable for seeing our people as violent. It looks like holding our judges and prosecutors accountable for seeing our people as irredeemable. And for each and every one of you, it looks like seeking out and targeting white supremacy in your meetings, your management structure, your ballots, your goals, your budgets. There are so many ways to live and work in the love that Dr. King spoke of. There are so many ways in which you must, because we cannot give back childhoods lost. We cannot put broken families back together. We cannot bring back lives lost. Love is an action, and you must act. This is what it looks like to honor Dr. King. And perhaps if we had done more to honor him over the years, I would feel more like celebrating today. I will say To those of you in this audience who have been working every day, and I see you, often against your peers, against a system steeped in white supremacy. Those of you who have been working to make sure that those of us who don't have access are heard and are seen, who are fighting for the humanity of our children, for the survival of our infants, for the safety of our communities, and for the freedom of our people. Thank you. You are appreciated, even if it's not said enough. Even if, in this very speech, our ongoing emergency has called me to focus on what is not being done instead of what you are doing. That is another thing that white supremacy has taken from us. But your work is necessary. And I truly hope that others here today who are not on the same plane will listen and ask what you are doing and join you in your efforts, and will support you in the ways that you need to be supported to do the work that we need to survive. I know that many of you are working towards a day where we will be able to celebrate together. I have to believe that one day we will be able to celebrate together. And I really hope maybe you'll invite me. I hope that we can all come together today and start looking for ways in which we can make this a county and a community that we always like to believe it is. A county that lives in unarmed truth and has unconditional love for each and every one of us. Thank you.